let Will Smith win. It's like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow.
Will Smith went from hero in Men in Black to man on the edge. And Bill Maher couldn't resist pulling the story apart. One moment he's all inspiration, the next he's giving open palm lectures on live TV. But Maher didn't just talk, he shattered the whole tough guy image. It was humor mixed with mayhem, wisdom mixed with chaos. What's left when Hollywood's favorite good guy stops pretending? Spoiler, it's not Awakening. It's pure entertainment gold.
It's time for another edition of one of our favorite departments here on Real Time, explaining jokes to idiots. As a public service, I break down jokes for the humor impaired. Not that I have anyone particular in mind.
If you're liking this, please hit subscribe. It helps more than you think. Maher didn't simply mention the slap. He brought it back to life, polished it up, and turned it into a mirror for every Hollywood man still confusing insecurity with passion. Everyone else moved on. Maher reopened the crime scene and said, hold on. We still haven't found the real issue.
Sick of talking about the slap, but I'm sorry, one more thing needs to be said. Comedians have been under attack for quite some time, and I need to stick up for my tribe. This war on jokes must end. So tonight, let's Zapruder film this thing once and for all and explain jokes to it.
And he was right, because somewhere between that Oscar stage and Jada's glare, real masculinity quietly left the building. The evening started like any glittery awards show. Lights, champagne, and stars so used to fame they forget what shame feels like. Chris Rock steps up, cracks a few harmless jokes, and suddenly the Prince of Emotions thinks he's Batman saving Gotham from humor.
Oscars, Chris Rock came out to present a boring award and first did what he is supposed to do, get some laughs doing what we comics call crowd work. Denzel and Javier Bardem each got spritzed. And then Chris made what in the business is known as a some shit is like some other shit joke.
The slap scene across the world wasn't about defending pride. It was about defending image. That hit wasn't bravery. It was panic dressed up as power. Maher saw the act for what it was, a grown man trying to play alpha male and forgetting his lines. He laughed because that's what comedians do when reality becomes too absurd.
To Jada Smith, Jada can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. Recalling the late 90s movie starring Demi Moore. That's it. That's the joke. You remind me of some other beautiful, buzz-cutted movie star. It wasn't an alopecia joke any more than the one about the chicken crossing the road is about bird flu. Not an insult, although insult humor.
Smith trying to look tough at the Oscars was like a vegan proving strength at a steakhouse, impossible without irony. But the real genius of Maher's takedown wasn't just the roast. It was the diagnosis. When we went from laughing to lunging, Maher saw every fragile ego in Hollywood reflecting back in full color. That's the truth about this era. Every celebrity wants to appear deep, modern, and powerful all at once. Maher used that moment as comedy fuel. He sliced the joke open like a lab frog and showed there was nothing dark inside, just humor. The G.I. Jane joke wasn't cruel. It was flattery with a twist. But outrage doesn't need facts, only Wi-Fi. In seconds, the internet turned it into a hate crime with sound effects.
As long as you're on the team of the woke, you can't make fun of the things that they prize. As long as you're making fun of the stuff that the kind of people of the woke fight against, which are white trash, I can make 1,000 fat jokes about Donald Trump. You'll never see a complaint on Twitter because the woke are the ones who do that. The conservatives, they may not like the fat jokes about Donald Trump, but they are a lot easier about just brushing it off their shoulders.
And that's when Maher got to work. He reminded everyone that comedy used to be where people laughed at themselves, not reported themselves. Once, a joke was something you took, not sued over. The Oscars crowd was once full of big egos pretending to be humble. Now it's a therapy circle for fragile feelings. The weather forecast is now full-time outrage with random apologies. The funniest thing is how will Smith prove Maher's point. Manhood died in that glare. It wasn't just a marriage scene. It was a Hollywood moment, a symbol of how celebrities live. Real emotion first, then public repair. The audience watched a live lesson on how fake correction works. You could almost hear Will thinking, wait, am I laughing wrong? Better fix that before Twitter ends me. He hit Chris Rock to protect his image and broke it so badly even the Echo got canceled.
Chris's joke was received as funny. As evidenced by the audience and Will Smith laughing. And this is the moment where we got to see a live-action, real-time encapsulation of how cancel culture works. Look at what happens next. Jada shoots her husband a look. Let's slow the tape down to capture this moment. There. Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Maher tore that logic apart like paper. He mocked the belief that violence equals virtue. That protecting someone means losing humor. True strength, he hinted, is being able to laugh, even at yourself. That's what grace looks like, especially when you're rich and wearing guilt on the red carpet. But Hollywood doesn't do self-awareness. It does PR and pretend regret. Every scandal becomes a speech. Every apology has background music. Will's identity crisis wasn't special. It was the result of a place where image beats truth. Kevin Hart loses jobs for old tweets. Gilbert Gottfried disappears for being himself. Yet Will Smith keeps his Oscar after real violence. Reality outpaces satire. Maher highlighted that gap. Jokes are crimes are press issues. That's not growth, it's theater. The hypocrisy spreads beyond Hollywood. Comedy clubs are now danger zones where laughter needs a disclaimer. Maher compared it to hecklers who laugh first, then say, that's not funny.
And Will Smith was always, in my view, a fantastic movie star.
One of the best.
But movie star. But not somebody who I thought of as a great actor. Not bad.
Right.
He got through the material.
Right.
But, he's not playing parts that are demanding. He's a movie star, which the world needs more than fucking actors, by the way.
Right.
Please, more movie stars, less actors.
Right.
But in this movie, what an amazing acting performance where you don't see the acting. That's why it's so great. I mean, he is astounding.
It's the new national hobby, finding offense after the punchline hits. Somewhere, committees are likely writing rules for safe laughter. Will thought he was defending honor. In truth, he became the meme version of every man who confuses pride with principle. Maher's roast peeled it all back, fake masculinity, emotional weakness, and the hunger for approval behind it. It wasn't just one slap. It was a whole culture cheering it on, excusing it, and pretending podcasts could fix it. The deeper Maher went, the funnier it became. He reminded everyone that comedians are the pressure release of society. They say what polite people only think. He explained that teasing has always been part of the game. The Oscars thrive on it. For one night, the untouchables get touched by jokes. That's the deal. You come dressed in diamonds, expect to be roasted. But Will broke that rule, turning humor into a therapy session.
Is laughing because he hasn't yet found out that his original genuine reaction is wrong and that he should conform to a different view. And he's the one who's being manly? I've seen the same syndrome happen in comedy clubs. Woke hecklers who literally have to wait for the laughter to die down before they yell, "That's not funny."
And that's where Maher's sarcasm landed hardest. If you can't laugh while sitting in a $1 million suit, maybe the issue isn't the joke, it's your ego. Fame means letting the crowd poke fun while you sip champagne. That's the price of luxury. The moment you swing, you lose your dignity. Then Maher widened the topic. It's not just stars losing humor, it's everyone. Colleges banning comics, audiences wanting safety from wit. Once built for thought, campuses now feel like censorship camps. Many young people fear context. They hear a joke and start writing apology notes. Maher mentioned how comics like Nish Patel were dragged off stage for saying things that matched woke ideals. You can't win. Be edgy, cancelled. Be supportive, accused. Only safe joke left is airline food. Even that offends turbulence survivors. Meanwhile, Will Slap stays as the perfect image. Emotion first, thinking never. That's what happens when performance replaces perspective.
I'm like in the last 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's fantastic, and he's amazing. So I'm not saying I excuse the slap now, but I totally get why he was in such an emotional state, playing that character. And look, I think award shows are stupid and horrible, and you can't say who's best actor because there's many people playing different parts that have to each play each other's parts to really judge this.
Yeah.
It's all opinion anyway.
Maher's whole rant was common sense wrapped in comedy. He wasn't standing up for cruelty. He was standing up for toughness. Humor is how people survive discomfort. Take that away, and you get endless outrage. He reminded viewers that disliking a joke doesn't make it wrong. The remote still controls what you see. Don't like it? Switch it off. Expecting every joke to pass moral testing would erase half of comedy. Imagine explaining Don Rickles to Twitter moderators. Impossible without breaking rules. Maher's deeper idea was philosophical. Comedy should challenge. It should make you think while keeping you amused enough to listen. Without that mix, it turns into customer service. He tied it back to masculinity, how modern men are redefined by influencers selling gym tips and alpha podcasts. Everyone wants to look powerful but peaceful, like a shark doing yoga. Will showed that perfectly, strong on the outside, but too insecure to stay calm.
This war on jokes must end. Will Smith didn't get kicked out of the Oscars for going Ike Turner on Chris, but Kevin Hart got kicked out of hosting it for a joke. Who are these people who say cancel culture isn't a real thing? Just among comedians who've gotten fired and lost gigs for exercising their freedom of expression, the toll is high. Gilbert Gottfried and Kathy Griffin were tasteless. So what? That's why we like them.
Maher's jokes thrived on that contradiction. He described Hollywood as a gym for weak egos where everyone's lifting approval and spotting each other's confidence. Every award show becomes therapy with fancy lights. Every apology looks like a hostage video in 4K. Every macho act is just panic in designer clothes. Yet under all the humor, there's sadness, because Maher's right. Comedy is fading. The same industry that once gave us Carlin, Pryor, and Rivers now edits jokes before they're told. Audiences cheer for censorship, mistaking it for kindness. The result is humor, so clean it needs a label for calories. Real courage doesn't fear laughter, it welcomes it. When you start censoring jokes, you announce your ego is fragile. Hollywood is full of that fragility. Every appearance is scripted. Every feeling rehearsed. So when real moments happen, like that slap, the illusion breaks and panic follows. Maher turned that panic into gold, reminding everyone that laughter is still the last honest sound left in fame.
So I get why he was, I don't get why he chose to slap somebody. And
Hold on, he didn't do the role the day of the Oscars.
No, but it was
probably a year before that he shot it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That was what was suffused into his mind and his emotions that day. You're going to the Oscars. It wasn't that far back in his life that he couldn't remember it. I'm sure it was still very raw. And I mean, the tears, I totally get all that. Now, again,
Come on.
I do.
As a comedian, I don't give him this
No,
much
I'm not excusing the slap. I'm just saying I get why he was crazy emotional.
Even now, the slap stays a cultural test. Some saw bravery, others saw breakdown. Maher saw a man trying so hard to prove strength that he proved weakness instead. It's pure irony, chasing respect and losing it in the process. Yes, Maher rubbed salt in Smith's wound. But maybe it needed, because pain cleanses and humor heals by stinging first. Maher didn't attack a person. He challenged a mindset, the belief that looks mean more than integrity, that being offended matters more than laughing. In the end, the message is almost too perfect. If you ever sit front row at an awards show and a comic jokes about you, smile. It's not an insult. It's proof you're still part of the fun, not the joke itself. Forget that, and you become the meme. That's true strength, not hitting back, but laughing and staying seated. Because nothing shows power like surviving a joke. And nothing shows weakness like turning one into history.